Time is scarce for everyone. I have a 2-year-old, I am not having any sleep, and I'm also 2 months pregnant. And I feel like, oh, thank you. I also feel like I don't have a lot of control over my life, and I don't have a lot of me time. So it's a Sunday afternoon, and I'm really excited for Pilates class. I got my new pink leggings, I got pink long sleeves, and my pink sneakers, and I was ready to get out of the house. I told my husband, adios, see you later, and I ran to my car. Finally, some me time. So I get into my car, and to get to Pilates class, I'm in Virginia, so you have to take a highway called Route 28, which is close to Dulles Airport. And there are 2 exit lanes that actually merge next to each other to get into the major highway. I'm on the left side, and there's a right side. So I'm getting into the exit lane when all of a sudden, I hear a strange sound, sounding like construction noise, and then debris flies in front of my car. And a few seconds later, a man with a motorcycle helmet flies in front of my car, rolls in front of my car, and I'm braking as fast as I can, trying to not hit this guy, and also, just hoping that I'm bracing for impact, that the cars behind me wouldn't hit me. I stop, my car stopped, and I look up, and I said, what the hell just happened? I'm shaking. And I look in my rearview mirror, and I see there's no car behind me. But all of a sudden, I see a car coming into my exit lane. So I jump out of my car, go to the back of my car, and put my hands up, and I scream, stop, 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 to the car that is maybe 60 feet away from me. And the car stops. Then I run to the front of my car, and the cars in the other exit lane are stopped. And in the distance, I see a brown van, and I'm like, oh my God, in delirium, thinking an ambulance is here already. And a woman comes out of this van, and I'm waving towards her, and I'm telling her to come here. And I see in the corner of my eye someone on the phone, probably calling 911. So I'm running back to the man who is stopped right in front of my car, and the woman comes in. And let me tell you a little bit about this woman running out of this van. She looks like a woman version of Clint Eastwood. Like, she is weathered face, badass looking, tough woman. She comes in, and we're looking at this man that's, on the ground, and he's making the worst sound I've ever heard in my life. He's going, look, look, look. And I'm like, this man is not breathing. So I tell this woman, I'm like, he's not breathing. I think we need to turn him over. But when you see an accident, sometimes you don't want to turn over the person because they can have a spinal cord injury. So we made the decision. We said, we got to turn him over because he keeps making that sound and he's not breathing. So she goes up to his torso, and I go to the back, and we say 3, 2, 1, and we flip him over. And he takes a nice, deep breath in. So we knew that we made the right decision. But all of a sudden, we look down, and we notice he doesn't have a right arm. His whole right arm is completely cut off. And at this point, there's still no ambulance, there's still no police officer, there's a bunch of cars stopped, there's no one else helping us. And we're looking at each other, and I'm like, what do? We have to stop the bleeding. So we try to come up with some ways, and she's like the badass woman that she looks like, she says, I have a belt. I'm going to tie it around his shoulder, and I'm going to tighten as tight as I can. So she took out her belt, wrapped it around the guy's shoulder, and pulled tight. And at the same time, I'm looking at his visor that's open here, that's broken, and I'm looking at his eyes are fluttering, and I'm telling him, I'm thinking actually, this guy, if he closes his eyes, he's gonna die. So I'm looking in his eyes, and I'm telling him, wake up, keep your eyes open. My name is Alex, my name is Alex. And then the woman across from me says, my name is Alex too. And we started laughing. It was the most inappropriate laughter. It was so inappropriate. I couldn't believe how we were laughing in this moment. How are there 2 Alexes here at the same time helping this man? So at that point, we're still trying to keep his eyes open, and another girl rushes over and she says, I'm a nurse student, I'm gonna keep his head stable. So she keeps his head stable. And finally, a police officer gets into my exit lane and parks his car. And now, I guess I have, these visuals, but he came out and I was like, is that the evil cop from Terminator? Because He looked like the evil cop from Terminator. And he came out of his car, and I looked at him. I said, "We need a tourniquet." And without saying a word, he turns back around, and he goes to his trunk and grabs this contraption that looks like it's from the 1600s. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Look up tourniquet. So then Alex, who's holding onto his shoulder, gets rid of her belt, and she walks off. And then the police officer comes in, and he looks at me, and he says, "This is gonna hurt." So I'm thinking this poor man is gonna feel some pain, so I'm holding onto his one only hand, and I'm squeezing it as tight as possible because I'm trying to defer the pain to his hand. And then the police officer says, "Ready?" And he cranks up that tourniquet. And I can hear his muffled scream, because he's still at this point not talking. So what felt like ages, finally the paramedics come in, they whisk him off, and we get up and we have to talk to the police for our statement. And at that point, Alex was like, "Did you notice that behind you there were probably like 20 people, and there seemed like a girlfriend tumbling her water bottle?" And I said, "I didn't even hear anything. I didn't hear none of that. I was literally just focused on that man." So in the distance, we hear a noise, and somebody screams, "We found the arm." Yeah. So I guess they put it in an ice bucket, and they also whisked away. So I'm going back in my car. I'm looking at my new pink leggings, full of blood, and I go home, trash those leggings, tell my husband the story, love him, and give him a hug and kiss, and my son a hug and kiss. And months pass by, and I'm like, what happened? You know, I hear nothing. There's no stories about this. No one talked about it in the news. I hear nothing. I don't know if this man survived or not. I even talked to Alex, and she's like, "Well, there was like 20 people, and they didn't even record a video. We could have been on Ellen." So finally, 7 months later, around 7 months, I get a phone call, and somebody, I say hello, and then somebody says, "Hi, my name is Alex. I'm from the police department. I want to let you know that you are nominated for the Merit Civilian Award for saving a man's life." So he survived, he lived, and a weight was lifted off my shoulder. And, you know, you can plan things in life, you can, try to go to Pilates class, but life is unpredictable. And always ask for help, because you never know an Alex might be around the corner.